Alright guys, in the last video we created the form to add a video. Now this is going to make a post request to /ideas. So we need to go back to our app.js and we need to handle that route. So let's go right down here below the get request to create, to load the form. And we're going to say, let's say process form. So this is, remember, it's making a post request, so it's going to be app.post this time. And it's going to be to /ideas. All right, and then we'll put our arrow function here with our request and response. All right, and inside here, just for now, we'll say res.send and we'll say OK. All right, so we'll go over here and we'll click submit, and you'll see that it actually sends and it says OK. Okay, so let's just get rid of that. I just did that. Actually, I don't want to get rid of that. What I want to do is show you how we can catch whatever is typed in here. Now, we can't do this without a third-party module, and that third-party module is called Body Parser. So let's look that up. Okay, so it's under Express.js Body Parser, and we need to install it. We need to require it, and then we have two lines of middleware that we need to add, which are right here, this app.use body parser JSON, and then this one right here, this URL encoded. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to stop the server. We're going to say npm install -- save body -parser. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and we'll start nodemon again. And then we're going to go up top here and bring it in. So we're going to say, actually I'll go right here and say const body parser equals require. And in here it's going to be body -parser. All right. And let's grab those two pieces of middleware. So these two lines here. And we're going to put these, I'll put them right below the handlebars middleware. Okay, and I'm just going to get rid of the comment here. So we just have these two lines, that's it. All right, because if we don't have these, it won't work. Now, what this body parser allows us to do is now we can access whatever's submitted. Okay, so this input, for instance, has a name of title, right? And this one has a name of details. So what we can do is we can access in the request object, we can access the body. So request.body. So let's save this, and then we're logging the request body, so it should show up down here when we submit the form. So let's submit, and you'll see now we have an object with the title and the details. All right, so that's how we can get the form values. Okay, now let's do a little bit of validation. Now, of course, we can do the client-side validation by just putting in our inputs required, like that. And now if we go back and reload and submit, it's not going to let us, but this is client-side. It's good to have server-side validation as well. I mean, you don't have to, but I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, so you could use some kind of module like Express Formatter, but it's actually, since the new version was released, it's really difficult to get set up. So I prefer to just do it manually, which is pretty easy. So let me show you how to do that. So in our form, when it gets submitted, what we're going to do is we're going to set a variable called errors, and we're going to set it to an empty array. Okay, and then we'll say if not request.body. Remember, request.body is an object with all of our form fields, so we can access each one like title. So if there's no title, then we're going to take that errors array and we're going to push onto it. Okay, we're going to push onto it an object with the text of please add a title. Okay, and then we'll do another check for the details because we want that to be required as well. So we'll say request.body.details, and then we'll push on to that. We'll say please add some details. All right, so now if these are not entered, then we're going to get these texts pushed onto the errors array. So then what we want to do is go under here, we want to check to see the length of the errors array. So if errors.length, so if errors.length is greater than 0, that means that we have an error, right? So what we'll do is we'll re-render the form. So we'll say res.render, and we're going to render the ideas/add form, and then we want to pass in the errors. Okay, so we have access to them in the template. We also want to pass in the title, which will be whatever the request, whatever they submitted. Because when there's an error, we don't want these fields to clear. We want whatever they put in here to stay in there. So we're going to set it to the request body title and then set details. So details will be set to request.body.details. Okay, and then we'll do an else. So else, then we'll do res.send, and we'll just say passed. Okay, so right now, if we go over here and we don't fill anything in and we submit, you'll see it just re-renders the form. If we fill both in and submit, we get passed. Now, we're going to want to show some errors here to let the user know what's going on if it's not passing, right? So remember, we have access to this errors right here. So let's go into our, where is it? Let's go into ideas, add handlebars. And let's go right above the card body. Yeah, so we'll go right above here. And we want to loop through the errors. So we're going to say number sign each. This is how we do a loop in handlebars. So we'll say each errors. Because remember, errors is right here. It's an array, right? It's an array. It's being passed in, so we should be able to loop over it. Now, there's something we can do here to say basically if there are no errors, then do something else, and that is by putting an else. Okay? So if there's no errors, then whatever we put in here will happen, which is going to be nothing. But if there are errors, then we're going to want to display a div. We'll give it a bootstrap class of alert and alert danger. Okay, whoop. And then in here, we just want to put the error text. So we can put our handlebars in and we can say text. Since we're looping through errors and it's an object that has text, then we can access it with just putting text. So let's save. Let's go back. And now we get our errors. If we put in the title but not details, we'll get please add some details. If we put both and submit, it passes. All right. So that's how we can add some very simple form validation. Now, of course, you can also put it on the client side, which you probably should. So we'll also go to our input and say required and onto the text area. That way you have kind of double protection. So now it won't even let us do it on the client side or the view side, whatever. So that's it for this video, guys. In the next video, we're going to handle this part. Okay, when it passes, what we want to happen is we want to take the form fields and we want to insert it into MongoDB using the idea model that we created using Mongoose.